Alright, I'm back. I'm back and in a respirator. I apologize in advance for how easy I am to hear, because the answer is probably not very. Let me bust out my new box of gloves, which I actually remembered to order, so congrats me. Right. So, molding things. I'm going to start by spraying this with mold release and not getting hung up on stupid little things. Definitely not. Right. Yes. I'm going to start by spraying this with mold release, because this is what I've done with plasticine in the past. It's already oil-based clay, so like, it's going to be hard to have it stick to silicone anyway. But this is sufficient. It's just matte wax. So I'm going to spray this pretty liberally, to be honest. It's not like I'm going to lose any essential detail by being kind of, you know, aggressive with it. That's probably way too much. That's fine. Definitely fine. Alright. That's dealt with. So, let me pull out the silicone I had from last time. Now I'm probably going to mix this with more catalyst than is recommended, purely so that it's thicker. Because this whole thing is on a slope, so casting it is going to suck. That is just a fact. I believe the ratio was 10 to 1. So, if I were to say, that's 50. So yeah, each of these one lines is 10. So if I were to do... Let's just see how much I can do with this. Let's see how much I can get away with her. Probably do this in front of the camera. Can I? Kinda. Yeah, kinda. So I'm typically reluctant to mix too much at a time, just because it then becomes more difficult to mix catalyst in. So I'll aim for around the 100 sort of mark. That's definitely going to be more. No, it's not far off. Having said all of this, I'm inclined to do more, because there's more here. Let's see. Pull that for now. And then I'm going to learn from my previous mistakes and push this up a bit first. So, but it's almost definitely too much. I'm sure that's fine. I'm going to start. It starts like this, right? You got silicon, catalyst. Actually, this is better, right? Yeah. But because it's super watery, I always fold it in first rather than stirring it. So something to this effect to start with. Because if you just stir it, you're going to splash stuff everywhere, and that's very uncool. So, yeah. I'm just going to fold it for a bit. Okay. That is getting there. So now I can comfortably just kind of swish it around. You can still see there's unmixed stuff because it's white. And that's why I don't like mixing up big batches at once. It's harder to make sure everything's mixed in. I prefer doing little bits and just kind of adding periodically. I'll start with this. And then I will try and see if I can kind of sort of semi-accurately add in more. I'll see if I'm able to get away with making it up to the 200. Because then I know that I'm just adding in another line's worth of catalyst, so it's fine. Please. I'm going to try and do the same thing again, basically. It's just going to take long. I'm going to try and halt it there. By the time it's settled, that should be about right. And I know I'm adding in roughly another one of these. That's going to be a lot. That's fine, I wanted it to be thick anyway, so as I said, unfazed. Then same difference. Start by folding it in till it's less liquidy. And then after that, it should be pretty stiff and actually kinda sorta helpful. There you go. And the plan is to get all of this laid down so that by the time the sun moves around into the back garden and heats the garage up from a different angle, it'll actually help this to cure. That's the plan. I suppose we'll see how lucky I get. But that's the intent. I find this is the best way of getting, like, fairly consistently mixed silicone. Just do it a bit at a time. And if you want it to set faster, just add more catalyst to it. Really. It depends what you want. I know for me, my biggest concern is everything pooling down here because it will. But I've made molds from things before that have way deeper angles. There is a method. And I will demo the method when we come to it. Let me just quickly adjust how I've got the door set up over here because it's getting quite warm. And I'm thinking I might just need to open the door a bit more to avoid overheating. Let me give it a go. Right, balls that up. That isn't remotely irritating. Right, there. Oish, door fixed. I should be less likely to perish now. That's the hope. At the minute, there's still hella runny. So I am going to stick a little bit more in here. That was a lot of it. I'm sure that's fine. I'm going to go back to sort of folding it in again. Okay. Now I can swish it some more. Okay. Probably going to leave that for a minute. Yeah, I'm going to leave that for a minute to sort of sort itself out. This should be fairly okay. Looking at it, should be fairly okay. So, I didn't bother with the other little test pieces that I did because they didn't matter and they were tiny. But for this, I'm going to use mold keys because I'm going to want to have a jacket on this so that when I cast it, it holds its shape. So I'm going to end up sticking these little bits in at different points along the mold. The purpose being to act as locators for the jacket that goes on top, so everything kind of slots together. And try and cut some smaller ones. I think those are going to be too big for this one, which is good because it means I have them for later. But yeah, I'm going to stick these in so that the jacket knows what it's doing with its life. And yeah, this is still very liquidy. Okay, actually, it's not too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some now. I'm going to leave that to run for a bit. Just see, so it's going to go all the way down and sort of collect in this trough down here. So that's exactly what I expect to happen. So what I'm going to do is, this is why I wanted to do it a bit at a time. If I leave that, it's just going to go over there and be a disaster. What I'm going to do is scoop it and drape it on top over here. And that's why I want to be able to keep a close eye on this whole shebang for a while. And that's why I didn't want it to be too runny. Because then this would gather quicker than I could scoop it. And that would have been a disaster. Also why I wanted the plasticine to be fairly leveled off. So that when I had to deal with this, I didn't end up scooping random fragments of plasticine with it. And making a big ol' mess. But yeah, basically just gonna have to keep an eye on both troughs, really. That's also why I didn't mix up a massive batch of silicone to start with. It would have been actual carnage. It's still gonna be carnage, but hopefully just not as much carnage. But as you can see, I've got to be fairly quick with that. But it's important to note that I'm not like digging in when I'm scooping it up. I'm literally just grabbing it off the surface. And then just whacking it back onto the high points. How about you don't do that? So yeah, this is going to require some supervision for a bit. For sure. I'm concentrating, so if I'm quiet, I apologize. Just making sure that I'm not losing any over the edges. Which is also why it needed to be thicker, so I could actually monitor it. Probably going to come a point where I have to pick this thing up and manhandle it to stop silicone spilling out everywhere. But I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. The main thing is trying to focus on the high points. You get back here. Now I am inevitably going to catch some plasticine up in this. Not the end of the world, to be honest. Ah! No! Casualties of war. Now what's going to happen? Well, the plastic mat is down, realistically. So what I'm looking to do is try and cover as much of the basics as possible before I add any more. It's important to note that at no point am I touching the main sculpt. Like that does not get interfered with. Just taking it from the sides and sticking it on top. So I'm not accidentally agitating the layers that are already down. It's starting to slow down, which is a relief. As I say, my primary focus currently, very much the high points. The rest will take care of themselves. Oh, I see you dripping over there. I will get to you. Okay. I got very distracted. I could hear someone calling outside the garage. I choose to believe it's probably fine. That's the trouble with when it gets warm, is I'll open the doors and then the neighbours end up assuming that it was an accident because I only open it a little bit. Kind of need to make a sign or something. Just to be like, it's fine. Nobody panic. This is intentional. Okay, at least this is slowing up. That's a plus. Being easier to manage in that regard. I'm just going to be here for a while. I've been disconnected from chat. Well, that's unhelpful. Thanks, phone. You're doing this again, huh? Not vaguely frustrating. That's exactly what I didn't want to do. I'd say that was primarily caused by the fact that I'm getting very warm. And thus impatient. And this is categorically the worst time to be impatient. Definitely slowing down though. That's a plus. Does lead me to question the state of what I've got left in that cup. To find out pretty soon. They should have made it wider along here for the wall. That's something I'll have to take note of for the next round. The next time I sculpt anything, I'll have to know to make the walls wider. They're walls, flanges, I suppose. Yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit of clay stuck in this, but oh well. I'm also probably gonna have to restart my phone again to be able to access chat, which is, you know, super unhelpful, really. It's getting real thick at this point. I say thick, stiff. Real stiff. Run this along here, really. Glide past there. See how that goes. Gotta make sure I don't drag anything along the actual sculpt itself. Be bad. Right. Getting pretty stiff now. I'm inclined to say I should probably look at what I've got left in that cup Okay, I can drape some stuff over here. It's always going to be fun casting stuff at an angle. So, realistically, I accepted my fate when I decided to do it this way. Comes with the territory. I'll take the L. That's slowed down enough that I can actually focus on these bits, which is nice. Annoyingly, I don't really have the spare seconds to reset my phone so that I can view chat. So I really hope no one has rocked up to watch this and I just am unable to see. That would suck. Right. Okay, all of that is in the cup is still very much usable. So I'm less sweaty over that now. Okay. Gotta be careful not to get too close to the edges of stuff because it will start warping. As I say, the high points, the awkward bits. The rest will absolutely take care of itself. The high points are annoying. Put a bunch down here, really. Gotta watch for that corner. Should have made it much wider along there. That is 110% on me. I will try not to forget when I make the other side of this. whack some more of this down, because now it's starting to get real stiff. And now I have to start being mindful of the working time I've got with this stuff. This is the point that I kind of need to whack everything on and just call it something of a Hail Mary. I know, I'm trying. Gonna grab everything I can out of this cup now. Just say screw it. Go Power Rangers. And just keep an eye on everything, really. Yeah, that's the best I'm gonna manage out of this. Oh god, come on. Don't do that. Give me a second to catch up, bro. But this is exactly why I wanted to make it with more catalyst. If this was still too liquid, the boned. Yeah, I'm just gonna be here for a while now, really. Periodically picking stuff up and smushing it back on top. This cup is done, so I'm just gonna whack it in the bin bag. Now I'm going to play a game of constant monitoring. All of this. And again, I'm quiet because I'm concentrating. It is getting to a stage that it's easier to control. So that's a plus. Starting to accept being built up along the top, which is nice. It's just taken this entire time to get to that point. It would have taken a lot longer if I hadn't whacked in as much catalyst as I did, in fairness. Right. I should try get a loading up here as well. And again, I'm not actually touching the sculpt itself at any point. I may get close, but I'm not like smushing anything on, because you're just going to end up dragging stuff off again. And that's the opposite of what you want. But yeah, now it's just a patience thing, really. Patience and being fairly careful. But mostly patience, really. I think because this isn't like, it's not critical to have like super highly detailed impressions come out of this, I'm not particularly phased. And anything that doesn't come out quite as I wanted it to, I can mess with after the fact. So, yeah. Objectively unfazed, I suppose. Whack a chunk up here, I reckon. Okay. That corner is threatening me still. I'm still not able to connect to chat. Let me see. Can I read anything? Ah, I'm a lurk while I drive to work. Fair play. Let me actually try and reboot my phone so I can view chat. It's really annoying not being able to see anything from anyone. I'm having to rely on the tiny preview that I get on OBS. So that's been annoying. Let me do the thing, please. Alright. Ah, there we go. Yes, now I can view chat. Okay. Hello. You're more than welcome to lurk. I am making a mess. Hopefully it'll be a productive mess. But it's a mess nonetheless. Probably gonna start dual wielding, to be honest. Probably end up slightly quicker. I might just be wrong. I don't know. It should be slightly quicker. Let me dual wield. Yeah, that is definitely quicker. Awesome. Alright, need to get some coverage down there. If I'm quiet, it's because I'm concentrating, so I do apologize. In fairness, it's not too bad now that it's become a lot stiffer. I don't have to worry so much about catching it. I'm not going to bother with the locators until I've got a couple more layers on. Because there's every chance they'll just get buried. So, yeah. I'm really not fussed about the little bits of clay that end up in this. It's not going to matter. It really isn't. I can probably get in a little bit from down here. Whack that one there. At least I'll finally have done this. After however long it's taken me to do just this one panel. Progress is progress. Irrespective of how long it takes. Means progress. Just much easier to see what I'm doing now that it's stiffened up quite considerably. So I can whack a bunch on. That's why I wanted to get this done this afternoon. because I knew that the heat would end up being a helpful factor. Unhelpful as far as being able to exist, but helpful as far as this curing and my being able to do more with it at a later point. I think I can steal some from up here. Yeah, I definitely can. Whether I can get it off is the problem. Right. Getting places. Try and get a little bit down here. Because all up in here would appreciate that. I'm gonna leave that as it is. I can probably take a bit from up here. Getting harder and harder to work with, which is what I'd expect in fairness. Oops. I take any of this. I'll take a bit. I want to whack it on here, really. Going along down here. I'm just looking at where I can potentially steal from. At this point, don't have many options, to be honest. Not paying attention. Now this is just the first layer. We'll add more on top of this. Just want to make sure that all of this is under control first. Fairness, I think it is. So I'm then just going to be mixing up way smaller batches to add on top. The most important thing is covering those high points. Prioritizing that pretty aggressively. Everything else will absolutely take care of itself. Okay. Not in a terrible position. So, I'm going to mix up a smaller batch. Add that on top. About half as much as what I've already done. Come on. This might just take a while. Annoyingly. This is going to take a while. Alright. What can I prop this up with while I wait? I lean this against anything. I should have considered this beforehand, really. Let's just lean this against this. There. I'll just leave that for a while. Of course there is a massive wasp in here. Why wouldn't there be a massive wasp in here? Ugh. Swear, nothing is ever easy. Don't think I'm going to catch this either. Bear with. Alright, it left of its own accord. I've just had to close the door, which means I'm going to eat up. Which is not ideal. But also, what am I going to do, really? Right, have a look at this. Right, it's nearly at the handy. Nearly. I can probably take that as being good enough. And then swap. And leave that up over there. So I mix up some more stuff. Let's say probably fine. Yeah, that's probably going to be tons, to be honest. I hate this time of year so much. Bugs everywhere, hot, just, ugh, awful. Looks like my chat's freaking out again. No, it thinks it's connected. Okay, we'll see about that. Don't know why it's being so weird this morning. It's been fine the rest of the time. I've been out here pretty consistently, and it's been fine. So, I don't know. I really don't. Ah, screw it. It's pretty thick. I can catch it. Keep saying thick where I mean stiff. It's pretty stiff. First layer is always the most difficult layer. Past that point, it's pretty easy. You down there. I think I don't. Alright. Let me dual wield again. Okay. I get any more out of this cup? I wonder. Just grab a bunch of this real quick. And then I will assess the situation. Not really. Maybe a tiny bit. It really is just a tiny bit. Not really worth the faff. Not really. Nothing over there, so... Right. Let me whack this cup in the bin. Or it can just fall over everything, that's fine too. At this point, sure, why not? At least I'll have managed to get this side of things done today. And tomorrow I can whack a jacket on top. And that should then be that whole piece sorted, which is nice. And then while I'm waiting for everything to cure, I can work on my half mask that I need for alarmingly soon. I keep forgetting how soon Ghost actually is. Dual wielding was definitely a solid idea. So, good job, me. Rare good idea. I've got to be wary of where I'm wielding these things. I keep getting confused with my depth perception. It's going to be a problem. Okay. Not looking too shabby. Fairness. Just the realization of how long this entire process is going to take. It's taking me this long to do one panel. Ugh. I suppose realistically there aren't that many panels. The chest I can do as a oneer. That's whatever. To be fair. That corner up there concerns me. The silicon's pretty strong, but it's not impervious to tearing. So I'm being pretty cautious and trying to layer everything up appropriately along the highest points. I've not been able to get an awful lot more out of this, annoyingly. I thought if I just left the container upside down for a while, I'd get enough silicon out of there. But no, doesn't look like I'm gonna get much at all. I mean, I got loads of unopened containers but I don't want to open more. Not if I can help it. I mean, I'm gonna have to anyway because I'm gonna need a ton more to deal with the whole thing. But my reluctance remains. Ever frugal with my materials. Hope I didn't just hit the mic with my respirator. Feel like I might have done. I apologize if so. Yes. Yep, perception again. I'm getting super lost in the sauce right now. It's just really therapeutic. Just winding up kind of zen by accident. It's gonna look like a bit of a lumpy mess, but that's not a problem, to be honest. Really isn't gonna matter. Not even slightly. I do need to keep a fairly casual eye on the time, though. Like 20 past 3. Whoops. Well, that's fine. Yeah, this is going to be as much as I'm going to be able to get done today. That's as much as I'd planned to get done, so realistically, it's fine. I've not got a lot more silicone to play with over there, to be honest. Oh, it's worth trying. In fairness, I'm not in a bad position. I think by the time everything really starts to cure, I keep forgetting I've got literal nails in this thing. Been bumping into them every now and then. Okay. Getting to a fairly good position here. Trying to think what else I can do with this today. Pretty much nothing, to be honest. Kinda just gotta leave it for a while. Which is fine. In fairness, time is a thing that is moving, so I need to be vaguely considerate of that. Because, yeah, I have the day off again tomorrow, but also I woke up super late today because I was just a mess. And then it really affected how much time I could spend on this. So I want to be up at my standard sort of time tomorrow. Which means I need to have everything sorted out so that I can get to bed in good time. So then inevitably not be able to sleep properly and there's future me problems. I'll figure something out. Just reached a fairly decent point. Just gotta make sure that when I do end up leaving this, it's not gonna spill over anywhere. At the very least, if it does spill over, it's not gonna matter. Definitely slowing up though, so that's a plus. is actually getting to a pretty good point from what I can tell. Which is just as well because I'm getting way too warm for this. How do I shut that other door to stop the bloody wasp coming in? I may have to just reopen it and accept my fate. Either that or collapse out in the garage. I didn't have time for that, to be honest. I'm too busy. I always say the same thing whenever someone at work is ill. But no, stay away from me, I'm too busy for that. And I say it as a joke, but it's also kind of true. Why I begrudge sleep so much. Just wasted time. It's starting to get real sticky now. So it's reaching a pretty good point. Okay. A lot of the silicone under this top layer actually a different color because it's way more cured. So that's reassuring. So I shouldn't need to faff with this for too much longer before it just kind of takes care of itself. I also need to try and give myself a little bit of time before dinner to go over a mate's new Minecraft world and choose the plot that I want to claim. I don't really get the time to do these things when I get in from work. Standard day. And I'm working this weekend, so it's not like I can just hop on when everyone else is around. But yeah, need to be a little mindful of the time, I suppose. Like, it's not a biggie if I end up doing it at another point, but also, it'd be nice if I could. Oh yeah, that's solid under there, good grief. Okay, awesome. I think it's going to be solid in a lot of areas now, to be honest. Yeah, it definitely is. Okay, so I more or less need to leave that as it is, to be honest. So what I think I'll do is give up on this, because this has been sat trying to drain for ages. So I'll just add a little bit of catalyst in there. Way more than I should. So that hopefully I can just use it exclusively on the high points and have it be real stiff. Well, that's thinking about it. I'm going to open the door again. I'm absolutely dying. Right, I'll give it a minute. Let's add a little bit more. Just because I want it to be really stiff. Okay. Grab a little bit of this, because it's just threatening to wander. Now, can I grab any more? I'm inclined to leave that as is. Whack this on here. Then I can just want to go over the bits that I think need a little more attention. Basically just all up here. Right, enough. Then to dual wield for a bit. Let me Get rid of this. Or at least attempt to. Then catch a bunch of this. Now I'm wondering if I can be practical about this. I'm wondering if I raised this up more, I could maybe stop it coming off of the high points along here. Well, that's just a massive lump, so that was never going to fit. That's fine. Then I'm going to need to be able to dual wheelchair to get this off anyway, so maybe that's not the play I thought it was. I don't know though, I think it could be. Maybe what I do is I rotate this so that it's this way. Maybe that's how I do this. The whole point of this was to try and raise this higher. That's what I think. So what if I did that? That might help. Might help. Who knows at this point, really? I think it'll help catch more in these high points that are otherwise being missed. That's my theory. Don't see why it wouldn't work. The rest of it that's underneath should be cured to a point that it's not going to fall off. I'm pretty sure just rotating it should be enough. Yo, it's going. Things are happening, and progress is being made. It's just, you know, fairly tedious. Basically just going to hang around until this stops threatening to go all over the table. So, yeah. But I'm definitely having the realization set in, because this is just for one panel. I have to do this a bunch of times over. And I am realizing how long all of this takes. But I have until October to get everything finished, so it's fine. It's just definitely going to take me a while. Good to hear progress is good. Yeah, I choose to believe that that is the case. If I can wedge this, I can. Yeah, me and figuring out time are not friends. How you doing? You alright? Just chilling, I hope. That's looking pretty good over this side, actually. That's not too bad. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Also have some progress of my own. No face project is close to completion. Huge. Weathering up next. Did some drawings requested to do for the community. 5 left. Later will be painting. Wow. That's awesome. Good for you. That's very cool. I've considered doing like commissions and stuff for people, but I never have. I don't I don't like the pressure. And I always figured like if I already hold myself to impossible standards for my own work, I don't know what I'd do with other people, you know? I feel like I'd lose my mind. Maybe at some point I'll be brave enough to just go, you know what, it's fine, you're deep in it. But for now, I'm just sticking with my own projects. We'll see. Maybe that'll change eventually. Maybe I'll curb my perfectionism. This is reaching a vaguely acceptable point. It's definitely getting there. That's still usable. Understandable, I know the feeling. Used to do small flower commissions. Had to stop burning out. Yeah, no, I worry about that constantly. Luckily, these drawings are 50% already made templates and just add the details. Plushie versions, yo, awesome. Nice. So I guess you have like a set style that you do for that, and then you base everything off of that, and then just like a bit, I suppose, a bit like how Funko has their basic that they just alter slightly. Only if you make that into like drawing terms, I'm assuming. Exactly, and chat loved them. Had a backlog. 36. Good grief. That's awesome. Very, very cool indeed. Maybe I'll eventually consider commission stuff. I'll just have to try and think of something small because I know me and I don't do small projects. I have to figure something out that forces me to check myself. I don't think I can do that. I'll have to keep it like this for now. I need to bring it up higher. Can I bring any of this in more? Not really. Lift this up more. Not a whole bunch. Angles are hard. What do I want to do here? Maybe I'm not thinking logically enough with this. That's better. Yeah, screw it, just do that. Fine. I was overcomplicating the issue, but I've now found a position that kind of works. So, that's fine. It's just because everything's on a curve, it was always going to be a little more difficult. Okay. Not in a bad position. If it's digital, start with something you're comfortable with. If it's about something physical, have you considered making props? I have, actually. I'm constantly considering making props. Because I keep seeing things and thinking, ooh, that would be fun to make. Use a template, resin cast, done in a jiffy. Cost and shipping, yeah, that's... So I actually have something I was planning to sell a bunch of casts of. And it's a sculpt I did years and years ago. And Iron Maiden, their mascot, Eddie. I'm a massive Iron Maiden fan, so I made like a life-size head sculpt, and I wanted to resin cast and ship a bunch of those out because I had a ton of interest, but they're massive, so shipping is a real problem. So I never worked out the logistics on that, and never really got around to doing it in the end, which sucks because, as I say, I had tons of interest. So I should really pick it up again at some point and just put in the time to figure out the logistics for it. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, understandable, right? But I could totally do, like, smaller things. I'm just myself, so I never consider smaller things. I am a creature of extremes. I only ever do things that are ridiculous. I don't start small with anything. I never have. Don't fall. See you leaning. Why are you leaning? I believe you. Yeah, yeah. That's something I'm a little bit notorious for. But I like to think it's ended up being part of the appeal. And it's one of the reasons behind streaming was to kind of show people how manic my process is. Anything that ever turns out well was by no means down to like sensibility and skill. It was very much just throw stuff at the wall. This happened to stick. I'm a creature of there is no such thing as impossible. Yeah, that very real. I can relate to that a whole bunch. Pretty much every time I see something that I want to make, it's just all right, challenge accepted. And it extends to anything and everything. Like I know when I was considerably younger, I was shown the movie Labyrinth with David Bowie by my aunt and uncle, and for some reason I was super into the Fire Gang, and I thought, you know what, challenge accepted. So of course I made a Fire Gang puppet. It's just it's so typical. I've always been the same. As the Doctor would say, I am and always will be the optimist, the hoper of far-flung hopes and dreamer of impossible dreams. Poetic, of course. Yeah, right. I also used to be a massive Doctor Who fan. Again, when I was considerably younger. I haven't watched it for years, but back in the day, I was super into it. This looks like a disgusting mess, but it's actually completely fine. By the time I've finished faffing around with it, I'll be in a good position to stop for the day anyway. So actually, this has probably worked out fine in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, because that side's taking care of itself now. So that's how I know it's okay. Same. My bro and I even made a fan film. Yo! I was the 11th, he was 10th. Quite fun. Still have your sonic screwdriver, yo! Stopped watching when Capaldi ended his run. The story went downhill, and we just say 12th is where it ended. Beyond fair. Like, I stopped watching a similar sort of time. So I stopped when Capaldi started his run. I think I watched one episode and was like, nah, I'm not feeling this, sorry. And then that was just it for me. I lost interest. Because I was a massive 10th Doctor fan, as I think most people were. So when Matt Smith came along, I was hugely skeptical. But after watching his first episode, I was like, you know what? I'll hang around. I'll see. I'm invested. I was invested in that, and also Amy Pond, Rory. It was a good cast of characters. I was interested. River, jeez. But as I say, I just kind of lost interest with Capaldi and was like, don't really care anymore. I mean, realistically, my interest was dwindling toward the end of Matt Smith's run. So there you go. I might still have my sonic screwdriver somewhere as well. I wouldn't know where, but there's a chance. 10th Doctor, obviously. Those were the days. Took a few episodes for 12th to get his footing, but believe it or not, he got to be my fave. Wow, okay. Second best monologue in the series. Oh, fair play. Fair play. I think, as I say, I was just kind of already losing interest toward the end anyway. Roy was a bigger fan of 10th too. Yeah, yeah. Always used to watch it weekly with my brother and my parents. But I was more into it than my brother was. Me and a friend, she'd always be a companion, and I was always the doctor. Shocker, right? Eventually, I just kind of grew out of it, I guess. Understandable. Yeah, yeah. Things happen, people change. I mean, realistically, I've not changed that much. But it's nice to have the memories, you know? There's always more to these things than just being a TV show, etc. I should be in a position to stop messing around with this soon, which is pretty cool. It does look like a disgusting mess. That's really not an issue. Like, it doesn't matter. As long as, like, the initial layers are undisturbed, not really a problem. Now I have to remember to slot my locators into this as well. The high points are the bits that I'm the most worried about. Should be fine, but even so, better to play it safe. I can probably whack some locators in. Where did I put them? How have I done this? Oh, they're under here. Okay. I can probably whack some in somewhere. Oh, great. The, the bot has decided something you said was illegal again. I'll have to figure out how to undo that in a second. Maybe it just ended up being a message that was too long, I don't know. That's so unhelpful. Alright, let me see if I can fix this real quick. Um, I'm not sure how to do any of this. Let me see if I can open it on here. Can I fix it on here? No. Uh, Let me see. No, this one. Okay. Oh, I can't do anything with that. Awesome. Oh, there must be a way of fixing this. Why are they all deleted? Okay, I managed to bring back one of your messages. As the 11th Doctor said, we're all different people all through our lives, and that's okay. That's good. That's good. You've got to keep moving, so long as you remember all the people that you used to be. I'll not forget one line of this, not one day, I swear. I'll always remember when the Doctor was me. Very profound. Well, if I got an alarm set, I'm nervous. Okay, that's fine. Okay, well, I don't know how to untime you out, but hopefully it's going to fix itself in a second. I was going to put the locators in this. I remember. That's what I was going to do. Probably fit one in down here. Stick one in here. See whether it stays there or not. Might not. We'll find out. Can I fit one in down here? And whether or not it stays there remains to be seen. Maybe if I just squish some of this over here. If I can make a thing. Ah yes, the nail that I keep forgetting is in there. Awesome. Okay. Seems to be getting places, which is good. Right. If you don't like me, you can just say so. Yo, I swear down, I have absolutely no control over this. This is just, it just exists to cause me pain. That's the full extent. Okay, I can definitely do one down here. These might not end up being big enough to be locators, to be fair. It's okay, from now on I'll just write very short messages. Yeah, I'm gonna assume that that is the only way around it, to be honest. Don't know how useful that's even gonna be there. Maybe I do it here instead. That one can at least be vaguely helpful. Okay, progress is being made. What other locators do I got? Future references, someone's timed out a ban, use the unbanned username. Where do I find that? Because I'm doing a lot through my phone. So I have no idea where to find things and stuff a lot of the time. Just type it in your chat on stream. Ah, okay, awesome, thank you. is very useful. I'll have to try and sort out how like things are moderated through bots. But I also know myself well enough to know that I will forget to do that. Type it in chat. Would have said sooner, but both hands were busy. Yeah, that's entirely for priorities and all that. Yeah, nice. Okay. Right. Reaching fairly solid points. I'm inclined to embed a bunch of locators and then more or less attempt to walk away. Where do I want to put you? Put you in up here. Why not? You're not helping, are you, really? You're just getting lost in the sauce. Maybe that'll work, maybe it won't. Who knows? BRB. Oh, fair play. I will probably still be here, so no worries. You're still not as useful as I was hoping you would be, so I'll move you somewhere that you should be more useful. Like in there. In there, maybe. I think it's just because they're small. Didn't want any that were too big, though. Do I have any other random little fragments? Oh, I do. I've actually got quite a few here that I could use. Let me see. Still trying to wrap my head around the fact you went live just before I woke up to go to work. Yeah, that sounds like me, to be fair. It sounds like something I'd do. I can totally fit this in down here somewhere. Uh, That seems way more helpful. Do that. This is a big one. So really, it should go down here somewhere. That seems fine. But usually you're live before I go to bed. Yeah. uh, yeah. Well, today was a day off, so I was able to spend pretty much my entire day doing this. Well, actually, it technically has been my entire day. I just woke up much later than I usually would. So I don't feel like I've been doing this for as long as I should. I'd usually start from my equivalent of like, what, 2:30 in the morning? Usually. But today I didn't wake up until like 7, which is really late for me. So, yeah, timings are definitely out. Love days off, right? Actually get stuff done. Nuts. Let's say up here. That seems fine. Move you down. Move you up. What other little bits have I got? Are any of these going to be big enough? Get to switch you because I've got tomorrow off. Ah, I also have tomorrow off. So, I'm planning to be up my usual sort of time tomorrow so that I can actually start doing this a lot sooner. That's the plan anyway. Whether I live up to that remains to be seen. But that's the intent. We'll see how lucky I get, I suppose. Okay. Not in a bad position now. Look, this is going to start being too solid to do anything with. A good thing, objectively, but also means I need to be kind of careful from here. More or less just leave things to run their course. Ah, my alarm, of course. Right, fair enough. That is my alarm for getting all of my stuff ready for bed. Which is, you know, probably fairly tragic, objectively, but there you go. It is what it is, and I enjoy my routine, so I'd rather have it than not. And it's always particularly apparent when I sleep in and end up feeling miserable because of it. So I elect to learn from my mistakes and wake up at my usual time tomorrow, regardless of the state I wake up in. I choose to ignore it, to be honest. That's what I'll probably end up doing, is having a look at this, whacking on an extra layer, and walking away for a bit, working on some other stuff, and then coming back to it. Probably. That's probably what I'll end up doing. Okay. I suppose, really, I could probably add some more on now. I have to be careful though, because if I do, I'm gonna have to babysit it to a point. Probably be more sensible to walk away from it for a bit. Add some more on tomorrow when I can actually stand here and supervise. Because realistically, I don't have the time before I'm meant to go to bed. Let's not do that, let's do this. That's too low as well. There. Okay. That then stays pretty still. Alright. I'm inclined to say I ought to leave it there for now. Really. That's what I'm leaning toward. I definitely want to put more layers on here, for sure. I just shouldn't do that now. So I'm gonna take my own advice for once. I mean, I don't need to take my own advice though. Not a requirement. Like, objectively, I should, but it's not a requirement. Let me just, out of interest, let me just see. We've got another one here that's unopened. I'll have to bust into it eventually. Oh no, that's resin. Okay. This is the part where I realise I don't have any more silicone and I cry. No, this is definitely silicone. Okay, hang on. Nobody panic. That is definitely fast cast. But this is definitely silicone. Now I know I need to order a ton more silicone. That's fine. I can definitely do that. Definitely order more. In fact, if I do that this evening, probably not a bad idea. I'm just going to do a tiny bit. Hardly anything. Literally just the smallest bit. Not enough to be vaguely consequential. I'm going to mix in the rest of this catalyst as well. So it's going to set super quick. And that is then fine. There are just a couple of little areas I want to flesh out, that's all. I'll continue it properly tomorrow. Just want to flesh out some of the lower edges, that's all. The rest I'll just dump on top of the high points, as per. Yeah, and I'll order a bunch more silicone because I'm going to need so much. I don't have to babysit anything, it's fine. Pretty much just sort itself out. inches, then whatever. I can make sure I get to bed on time so that I actually get up to deal with this. I should fill that in, which is all I really want from this. Just want to fill in the flanges. I've been scraping away at them the whole time, which is fine while I'm trying to fill in the high points, but then makes the edges really weak. Because I've not left enough room for those, I just gotta fill them in manually. That is considerably better. By no means perfect, but considerably better. I am then less bothered about having to walk away from this for the day. Still don't wanna, but I'm less bothered. So, for the sake of providing myself peer pressure, I'm gonna say I'll be back here to deal with this at 2:30 in the morning, UK time. So, yeah. Consider this me forcing myself to do the thing that I'll feel better about doing anyway. But for now, this is kind of everything I'm able to do, really. Yeah, right. I am going to call it there for now. And then, yeah, 2 a.m. UK time. I'll be back to deal with more of this. Because, of course, by which point all of this will have cured, and I won't need to worry anymore anyway. Forgot that these came with one little mixing stick. Cute. But yeah. I will call it there for now. Been going for nearly 3 hours anyway. I do all the rest of that up at a later point. Well, sure, that's fine. No panic, I just forgot I'd put a chunk of wood there. Okay, that's gonna be it for now. Feels so weird being awake for the end of one of your streams. Yeah, yeah, that is beyond fair. As I say, it's only because I'm doing it during like normal people hours, because I have the ability to do so. But tomorrow there'll be a return to normality, in that I'll be streaming at stupid hours. So yeah, I'll be here for that. I'm making the commitment so that I force myself to wake up and resume my routine. So for now, that's gonna be it. But I will catch you guys when I'm, here tomorrow, since I'll be here at my usual time and also like normal people time. So you'll catch me eventually, regardless. But until then, have a good one. Good day, good evening, good whatever, I guess. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. So yeah, in a bit.